Welcome back to the DroneOn Show. I'm Mike. We got Kevin and we got Dennis with us today. We're going to be going over, using thermal drones in security space, thermal drones as a thermal drone business, and just really talking about how we think that could be a really good thing for private security. Cracking a bubbler right in the middle of that. Then you got one to crack? No. But so we're just gonna get into it. We're just gonna roll with it. Obviously, I started talking to Kevin about this situation after Charlie Kirk's death, is using thermal drones, and necessarily, I guess it wouldn't have to be thermal drones. Using drones in security. I don't know that any drones were being used when that incident happened. Do you guys know?
No. And what we were talking about is if you have a security detail in 2025, why does it not include drones?
I think they might have had one.
You think so?
Drone.
The thing buzzing around?
I don't know for sure, but my wife said she thinks they had
I've seen some conspiracy stuff that you see like this drone, or they say it's a drone.
Possibly a bird or a drone or...
Yeah, I don't know. I do not know.
Well, okay, so Dennis, you fly an M30T. Think about it. If you have an M30T, which is the one over there behind you, flying, let's say there's multiple just hovering outside of the situation that's going on, right? So the people are down there. You're not hovering over the people. You're hovering out back from them.
Right. It's a no-brainer to me.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
I do not understand. I probably just don't know that the technology is available and what it could actually do. Or they're going and maybe buying a cheap drone,
like a Skydio, like something that doesn't have good quality.
We said cheap.
Doesn't have good.
True, Skydio is expensive because it's American built.
Well, something that doesn't have a really good zoom camera, something like that. Because what you want, like the Matrice, like you can hover that thing at 350 feet. And be not even close to above a crowd.
Yeah.
Have the zoom camera. You can zoom in on any aspect of what's going on. Like think about it. Like if you 500 feet away from something, it's during the day, how well you can see what you're looking at.
Yep. Yeah. Go ahead, Kevin.
Well, it feels like, in light of the assassination and how tragic that was.
Horrible.
But it's like the world is changing. And the world has changed. And now it's like suddenly we live in a world where if you're going to be a political figure that garners hate from one side or the other, you have to have not only a security team around you, but you got to have eyes on every rooftop that has a direct line of sight. That I think that's now the world we live in.
Yeah.
So,
but humans don't have to be up there watching.
Oh, right, 100%.
Like we even talked about, like the Matrice 30T. That thing is an absolute badass machine. Like, what if you'd even just have a speaker and red and blue flashing lights? Just even from a deterrent standpoint. Not that it's that you're going to physically see people that are doing bad things, but the people that are going to do bad things will see it. And then they're going to be like, oh, geez, they see me. Well, I actually don't see you, but you think I see you.
You could see them, and they won't know. The other thing is, if you have these drones hovering up there recording everything, of course you have them recording.
Right.
Now, all of a sudden, we've got cameras in positions where you just can't mount a camera.
Why is it not a thing?
Why is it not a thing?
It will be.
In the let's say even in the event of a attempted assassination, right? Or like somebody is deterred, like you see somebody climbing up on the roof. Why not? I mean, you radio in, right, so that they move the person out of line of sight. But then you have eyes on that person, right? Or something goes wrong, that you have an eye in the sky that follows exactly where that person goes, recording 4K video the whole time, and that person is caught.
If you guys are listening to us, if you're not watching us on YouTube, if you're listening to us, you might hear the frustration in our voice. It's because we use this technology and we know what it's capable of doing. And it just absolutely makes zero sense to any of us three here that are listening, and Landon included. He's flown many drones. It's like, why in the Sam Hill are we not using this? It can work.
It makes no sense.
So let's get like one of the probably the pushback that people would have is, okay, well, how is it legal to do that in crowded areas over university campus? So do you want to bring a little clarity into what that would look like to fly over or around an area with thousands of people, milling about on campus. What's
look,
legal?
as long as you're not physically right over top of the people, then you can still fly your drone. Now, I would have to check and see if they have a no drone zone. But if you're there, right, you're having an event, you can get waivers to be able to fly there, right? If I'm on the security team of whoever this guy that I'm watching needs security, I'm going to be able to get the right for my drone pilots to fly. And if there's other drones in the area that don't have the right, say we go there and we have our team. There's four drones flying, and now there's a fifth drone. Well, we know that's not part of ours. That's not somebody that's supposed to be there, and so you could take care of that situation. But every place, even if it's a TFR, like we just spoke to a guy in the UAV conference in Las Vegas. He had approval to fly in a TFR, temporary flight restriction zone, in the Buffalo Bills. Is that who it was?
I thought it was the Raiders.
Anyhow, big, huge stadium. And he has the right to fly his drone in that area where normally you don't have that right. Yep. But he could get that because then people know, the authorities know, okay, there's a drone. This is what the drone is. It's going to have these lights. This is the point that this is what it's doing. It's going to fly in this area. And as long as it stays in that area, everybody knows this is a drone that's allowed to be here. If the drone starts doing things that are not on the paperwork, then okay, that guy is not part of it.
And what he was doing is he was providing a live shot of the stadium. It's really cool. I saw his reel. But he just goes back and forth on train tracks outside the stadium. So he's always above, there's no people right below him.
Nope.
And he just always has a cutaway shot that the stadium or the TV channel can always cut to if they want to see and he was flying a little Mavic.
Yeah. So that's how we would do it, Kevin, right? If we're flying out of campus, unless they may have a no drone zone, but that doesn't mean that you can't get the approval to do it.
And so you would have you would probably I would think with 2 drones, you could cover 90% of a scenario, right? You'd feel good with the 2 drone coverage, right?
I guess it depends how large, how wide, that type of thing. But yeah, even just 2 drones, I'm just thinking of a Matrice 30T because that thing is just so good. It has enough noise. People are going to probably hear it. Throw some lights on that sucker. Even have a laser on it. That's another thing. Guys don't realize that you can have a light, an actual shining light and a little laser right next to that light. So if you see a situation that you don't like, just turn that laser on. If you'd be walking in and you're wanting to do something bad and you all of a sudden have a laser on you, it's going to be a deterrent.
Yep.
Yeah,
sure.
And you can go the other way too of doing low noise propellers.
You could do that.
And going incognito to where people may not even know that there's a drone there.
Yeah.
So you can do both things.
100%. Yeah, you would take a 4TD, put low noise propellers on it, or a 4T and do the same thing.
And with 30-minute battery life, you always have another drone when one comes down to swap batteries, have another one up there.
Yeah.
You can easily keep batteries charged enough. You could easily provide coverage for a 6-hour event with 2 drones, just swapping off. Always have an eye in the sky.
100%.
Yeah.
Compared to what you have now, where you don't know what's on any of the rooftops, it's a total game changer.
Yeah. Can you imagine a guy trying to sneak over a rooftop if you have a drone up there? He would stick out there's no chance he would.
Yeah.
And a shooter, it seems like shooters always want to be on the rooftop instead of shooting from outside a window because buildings have more security, right? Harder to get out of, harder to get weapons in of. So,
but even in those situations, you can still see them better than you can with the naked eye. That's for sure.
Yep.
You can zoom in a second. If I see anything, or if I do want to check out all the windows on a specific building or something, in a few seconds I can zoom in and just pan over.
Yeah.
It's would there still be scenarios where you could miss somebody? Of course, but it's for if you would add, let's say us 4 on a big security team, each with a drone like this, so where we can always have 3 drones in the air, even while the other one's swapping batteries. Yep. Can you imagine the amount of surveillance we could do on an event with that for the price of 4 guys running a drone? It's the amount of security that would add to an event is absolutely massive.
It's crazy.
That's why it just doesn't make sense that this isn't a thing.
Yeah,
Well-
I think it will be. I think
It has
it's
to
just-
be.
I think it now is.
They're-
I
they're-
think as of now it is.
Yeah.
As of last
If
week.
you guys are listening and you guys have any reach with private security teams and they're just not sure about the drone, stuff, share this podcast. Like, let them hear us with the confidence that we have, because we have literally thousands of hours between us, all four here. I don't even know how many thousands of hours we have, but I'm telling you, it is totally possible to just add another level of security, just another level. Even if it's not going to stop everything by 100%, it's another level that it's going to deter people, if nothing else.
Yeah, it would be a deterrent. And the thing is, being able to record at all times, even if I miss something, if I'm flying the drone and I'm watching and I'm looking for stuff constantly, even if I miss something, if something does happen, have video to go back to. I mean, of course, there's video cameras everywhere anymore, but they're not up in the sky at 300 feet, like taking in that wide of a view.
Yeah.
And so if you'd have a couple drones, and for most events, I mean, if they aren't crazy huge, if you have 2 drones on both sides looking down at the event, you would have so good of a view. It's just crazy.
I agree. And just like the M30T, I'm just bragging the thing up because it is a powerhouse of a drone in every aspect. So I like it because it's heavy. It hovers for a long time. It can fly in rain. It can even drop things with it. But another thing is, if I'm a trained security person and I see something that's going on and we can't get there fast enough, do you know what can get there even faster? That drone. And if you have that drone in the right hands, I can FPV fly that sucker right straight into you, and you're going to be deterred. I'm telling you. Like, think about it. There's scenarios that you're not allowed to do as a civilian, right? Like using your car to crash another car. But if you're protecting somebody, you can definitely use your car to crash in.
So if you see somebody on with a rifle up on the roof, then
100%.
it might not be a bad idea to crash into him.
Yeah, 100%. If he has a rifle, right, you might not be able to get that shot off because your angle isn't right, or you can't run up there fast enough.
Well, it's exactly. I thought of the same thing. Like in a situation where you would be sure, okay, this guy's actually got a gun and he's pointing. Like you could literally just run it right into him and stop him from doing it. But you would probably not even have to do that in order to make it stop.
Yeah. Exactly.
And the thing is, if you see something, like imagine a lot of the shooters that in the recent few month or year here, like people saw them. People on the ground saw these
them.
guys before anything happened and are like, what's the guy doing on the roof? Can you imagine, like now they're trying to get the attention of the police. Hey, there's a guy over there on the roof, and the police guy is like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
By the time they actually go and check out how long that takes,
Yep.
to where if you have a drone in the sky, seconds. I mean, you could be there in seconds. If you've got that, I mean, that thing will go 50-some mile an hour if you put it in sport.
Landon, I like to hear, why do you think there aren't drones? Why are they not using drones right now like we're talking about?
Well, I do actually know of a local protection group out of Dalton called Arc Protection Group. And there's a photographer, which Kevin, I think you would know, Tim Dorfler, has done training with them with firearms. But he also is one of the guys that is flying Overwatch with a 30T. So we could actually get somebody in who has some experience. And they've been doing protection work for local and regional candidates that are doing stuff in the area. So there are people doing it. We probably just don't see it quite as much. But, you know, it is curiosity with the event that we're talking about with Charlie Kirk. You know,
For sure on an outdoor event.
Yeah, exactly. Was there something there? It was missed, so on and so forth. But yeah, there are people doing it, and obviously I have limited exposure to that world, but there are people, and by my association as a photographer, I see people that are doing that kind of work.
My thing was, if you do it as a team, right? They're security teams, and you'd have a drone security team. You could run all your stuff through a hub, through DJI Flight Hub, right? You guys are all out there flying. There's one main guy monitoring the feeds, monitoring the camera angles. You can do that all in one hub if you wanted to. It's just frustrating because, right, we're talking about it now after the horrible situation. Why weren't we talking about it before?
Yeah, it's sad that you have to be talking about it.
It's sad you
It
have to be
is,
talking about it. Yep. But it's sad for our country, but it feels like that's definitely like that's where we live now. It's now the world where if you do an outdoor event, you have eyes on the roof. I mean, that's part of security. And I guess where my mind goes with the whole drone security thing is, I would say cost of entry, if you want to provide security, you want to add a drone, I'd say you're at probably around $10,000, probably a little less, right? You have maybe the M4T, you have enough batteries to fly around the clock, and that gets you started.
Yeah.
But then that you can also scale that up. And I spoke with somebody last week who sets up command centers for like heads of state, and we're talking fills out a whole hotel room with 10 different screens, 10 different drones.
This is not
air.
in the United States, though.
Different country.
Yeah.
But it's the same drones, right? It's
Yep.
just you can scale that up to provide whatever you need. But at any level, you should probably
Surely,
think of having
I mean,
drones.
maybe we're just missing something, like Landon's saying. Surely there is something. Why isn't it publicly made known that this is going on?
Well, I think part of it, I'm guessing here because I don't know for sure either. But like I mentioned the drones, me and my wife were talking about it a little bit, and she's like, I'm pretty sure they had a drone there, but I have a feeling it's like some little $500 drone that's kind of sucky.
I don't think so.
And maybe not.
I don't know. I can't see that. I can't see. You would have you'd always wear a bulletproof vest, and you wouldn't have more than a $4.99 Costco drone. That's not.
Well, I don't know, but it's like if they have a matrice up there, they should have a lot better footage than what we're seeing.
Exactly. That
Like,
too.
we're not seeing any of it.
But we're not
at
seeing
all,
any
but-
drone footage. Period.
Right. Exactly. But it's like you would think.
You would
if they
think they'd
would
have something.
Something that we wouldn't know about it. But I don't know. I haven't seen it. I seriously think there's a lot of security teams out there that just don't really truly know what's available.
Okay. I mean, that might be true.
And
But
they
just-
they don't know what's available, or they're just like, no, we don't want to have to hire a drone pilot to fly it or whatever. They think it's hard. It's amazing how many people think that
It's
flying
difficult,
a
yeah.
drone is like, oh, you crash those guys, like no, yeah. If you go and buy a $50 Walmart drone, they
Yep.
crash easily. If you have a good drone, like they are super easy to fly.
And
I agree.
Overwatch is not dangerous either. Like
Oh,
you're not
no.
down in the trees. You're not doing
No.
maneuvers.
Yeah.
You're just eye in the sky.
Yep.
And from a, just ease of use, right? Somebody on the security team gets to 107. The volunteer who happens to be a college student at the event,
Yeah.
he can fly the drone
Yeah.
legally in the presence of the guy with the 107 without, you can use volunteers for this. It's like, here's how you use it. Here's how you land.
So are you actually
simple.
looking at not maybe as high profile, just maybe more local stuff? Kevin, is that kind of what you're...
It's just
because a high profile event, you're going to have a trained professional
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
knows exactly what he's looking for, right? But are you talking about maybe a more local, maybe a little bit less profile?
It's almost like anybody who's thinking about security, there's a solution for them at the price point that they have with the staff that they have.
Yeah.
There's like
That
Mike is
involves a
saying,
drone.
That with
Yeah.
the drone,
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
excuse not to have a drone now.
Yeah.
In
I
2025.
agree.
Yeah, and I do think there's most of the situations where it's going to be a high-profile person, and they're spending so much money on security anyway that adding this and the value that it adds to the security team is a no-brainer. Like, I don't think money will
Yeah,
be
I
an issue,
agree.
or
Yeah.
hiring the
Yeah.
right guys to operate the drones. I don't think that stuff is an issue at all, and I think we will see it.
Now we did hear, and we talked about in another podcast, that there were some drones used at President Trump's inauguration. I don't know how many and what that whole ordeal was, but it just seems like you were saying, Kevin, right? The price, the price of entry is so affordable that it just doesn't make sense that you wouldn't have at least one.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking like at least 5.
I agree.
Now, if you have a high profile person like that, then it's like, I mean, yeah, you should have a drone at every angle. Like at 300 feet in the sky, it'd be the best cameras you could possibly imagine. Like, yeah, we got the little cameras on the corner of the building or at the gas station, but those cameras are like, it's so small and they capture such a small area versus what you can capture if you've got multiple angles from 300 feet in the sky. It just absolutely makes zero sense that you wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I agree.
We don't know that much about security and how security detail operates, and I would actually find it really interesting to hear, like, if you're going to do security at a Charlie Kirk event, what's the planning and what's in place that we never find out about? Because maybe it's, I mean, in the videos you see the guy standing next to him, where if somebody's going to rush him, you know, he's going to stop him. But is there people in the crowd? You know, what else is there? I don't know. Maybe
they're probably watching this and thinking these guys are idiots.
Yeah.
They have no clue.
And the truth, we don't know anything about it.
I don't believe that because if we don't get to see the footage of him running away, right? The second that you see a dude jump off of a building, I mean, I'm just going right over there, hitting him with the zoom, right? And we're tracking him.
Yeah, it's the thing that that I know without a question is finding somebody, a suspect, and getting to him or getting to any suspicious activity in seconds. It's the fastest way to do it.
Yeah.
Like it's always that thing of, well, I mean, I thought of it. Like if I'd be at an event like the Trump shooting when the guys were pointing the guy on the roof. Well, I'm like, well, I'd probably do the same way. I'd maybe be a little more aggressive than some of those people were, like about getting attention to the guy. You know, because that is seriously suspicious when somebody's crawling on top of a roof.
You should not be doing that.
That is completely nuts. But I'm thinking if I have a drone and I see that in a matter of seconds, I can be there. Like I can be there. That guy knows he's being watched.
Right.
Now, like you can actually
turn your little police lights on, turn the siren on. Oh. Everybody's looking up.
Yeah.
Okay, now something's happening. Get the guy to safety.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah, and you would just have your, you know, whoever you're protecting, they would be in the loop. There's going to be drones flying, and if you see something, if you hear the siren blaring, get down. Like, because then something is serious, right? Like, they train also with their security team, you know, if something goes wrong. So we could probably go on. What do you got?
So I'm just trying to think through. Maybe one of the concerns for the organizer of the event or the security team is how certain can you be of the safety of the crowd? And am I going to be liable for somebody getting killed by a drone that falls out of the sky?
Oh my gosh, that's so rare.
But this is a question, Mike. I think this is an actual question that, you know, people who don't know drones, they're probably asking that. So
first off, most of the time you wouldn't even have to be flying above a crowd or any people at all. Most of the time you would probably not even have to be flying above the crowd.
Yeah. We've, in the thousands of hours we've flown a Matrice, never have we had just an engine failure where it just plummeted.
No.
Is that fair?
Yeah, it's just fair. Yeah.
If you have your sensors off and you crash into a tree like Austin does, then you're going to crash the drone.
Yeah.
But if you're flying
But I will say the technology that's packed in the Matrice 30T, they have done testing where they shut one motor off and it did not flip. It has a controlled landing. It's spinning, but it's coming down and it doesn't actually like fall freely to the ground.
And depending what kind of a environment you're flying in, and I am pretty certain of this, you can get a parachute attachment for the M30T.
Yep.
That some airspace might require you to have if you're flying over people. Now, you know, that unlocks flying over people.
Yep.
If your drone experiences a failure, parachute deploys, you don't hurt somebody underneath.
Yeah, there's plenty of options to keep the people on the ground safe. Like if you're but again, like Dennis said, we're not flying over top of them. We're out on the edges looking inward. That's how you do it. Another sad story last week, the 2 hunters that went missing. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Like we were talking about how, you know, finding them. I'm really curious if thermal drones found them or if, do you know?
I do not know, but I heard something yesterday on how they actually died.
Yeah, I did too.
I saw that yesterday.
So I'm going to bring the people up to speed. There were 2 younger hunters in Colorado went missing. They were missing for 6 days, was it? Or was it longer than that?
It was somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
6 or 7.
So they were missing for a while. It looked something looked strange because they had brought some of their gear to their truck, and then they were not by their truck. And anyhow, they didn't have the SOS thing, right? They didn't have the Garmin.
They hadn't got pinged.
Yeah, they hadn't got pinged
in a certain amount of time,
and so their
they
family
missed
wanted
their
to
check in.
Yeah, so their family wanted to look for him. They started a big, huge manhunt, and then ended up finding him dead. Yep. And I seen probably the same thing you seen. They're saying they got struck by lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a sudden weather event, severe weather, and they were out doing an evening hunt, a quick hunt without all of their gear.
Yeah.
And then the weather hit them, and then it just came. I think it just came out yesterday that they
So
were saying
my
lightning.
thing was like, do you think they had to be standing up against a tree or something, and then maybe the tree got struck, and then it?
Probably something like that. But something from the beginning on this story, I was like, something's off. Like,
yeah.
these guys are mid-20s, they're hunters. How would you possibly just venture into the mountains without a clue on how to get back? Like, this is just strange. And for this long, like, it didn't quite make sense to me. Then when I heard the lightning strike thing, I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
now it makes sense.
They were being described as experienced hunters who had been out and about. It's not like they were just venturing into something for the first time. But yeah, that severe weather kind of came up on them. And then the lightning. It makes a lot more sense in explaining everything.
And I figured, well, they got wet, hyperthermia start kicking in, and they just didn't really know what it was, and just laid down to sleep, or thought, we just need to rest. And,
Okay.
That's what I would think. Well, that must be what happened. Doesn't make too much sense, but probably. But then, the lightning strike. I'm like, okay.
So if you're out hunting and a storm does come up, how do you protect yourself from lightning?
That's a good question.
You don't worry about it, because the odds are just so slim that if you start worrying about that,
you don't go stand under something that's taller than you. You don't.
Not usually.
Well, standing under a tree wouldn't be a good idea, because the tree's what will get hit, and
Usually.
it'll
But
get
I mean, you've seen videos on YouTube before where a person was out in the middle of nowhere and on their sidewalk, and boom, got hit. It's just so rare.
I know.
It's the rarest thing, I think.
But if it were me, I would not be out in the middle of an open field where my head is the tallest thing. I would go. I mean, I don't know how it works, but I would go dive under a tree.
I'm sure that Grok could tell us where you should go, but I would say you're probably better off out in the middle of a grass field than you are in the forest, I think.
Yeah. It is definitely one of the things where I'd highly recommend not worrying about it, because if you start worrying about things that are that rare, you're not going to drive home right now. Like, you're just it's too risky to get on the road, because it's more likely that you're going to get beamed by some semi than
It is so true, though.
Does that make sense? 2 people would have died by lightning. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Especially if they would have been like under a tree. Maybe they were leaning up against a tree to get out of the rain. That would make perfect sense.
Yep.
Like, okay, we need to stay dry.
So
we're just gonna
lightning hits the tree, travels through the tree.
Yeah, and
So potentially, if that were the case, had they not been touching the tree, they would have been alive today.
even the roots, I think, and because like if animals stand under a tree, like this will happen to cows go under a tree to get out of the rain, and it hits and it'll kill the cows. Just standing on the ground because of probably the roots and stuff.
Wow.
I'm not a lightning expert.
Lightning travels down through trees in a couple different ways. So one way, from a tree, saving the tree standpoint, you want it to rain prior to the lightning getting there, because if it does, when lightning strikes a tree, it will travel down the outside of the tree in the water. That's how it's getting to the ground. If the lightning strikes before the tree is wet, it will penetrate into the tree and travel down what's called the cambium layer. It is basically like a huge straw, and it's traveling down the water because it's the easiest path to get to the ground. And so if that happens, you oftentimes see the tree blown apart. Like, you'll have the bark blown off because that's where the lightning traveled down through. This scenario, it wouldn't have mattered if the tree is wet or dry. If you're leaning up against the tree and it gets struck, you're probably still going to get hit.
Yeah.
So because this is a drone show, if you have a drone in this situation, are you putting the drone up so that the drone gets hit instead of something lower?
It's highly unlikely that the drone will get struck because the drone is actually not grounded.
Yeah.
Was that how that works?
Yeah. So just jump off the ground so that you're not grounded, and
You're
you'll be
fine.
good.
Just levitate for a little
Yeah.
while until it's over.
I mean, it just lasts.
I
for
can
a
tell
second,
Dennis is
so,
concerned you're worried about getting struck by lightning.
I'm just thinking this is
Some
the one
serious-
situation where a drone ain't going to help you. Is what it
Yeah.
sounds like.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So-
I don't think it will.
Yeah.
But I
Unless
wonder
you
if
want to record it. So you
I wonder if the drone could have found them in the right conditions with them being deceased for that long. Do you
yeah, I don't know.
because you were looking for the EHD deer, and some of those boogers, you were not kidding. They were completely gone.
Yeah,
There's just bones.
I think I found them at every stage of
Decomposition.
Yeah.
But the conditions were perfect. A little bit of rain. Yeah.
it had rained that forenoon a little bit and was still overcast, and so conditions were ideal. But yeah, to find something like that, then conditions are everything.
But we were talking about like using drones to look for those lost hunters in such a vast area. It would be hard.
It would be, but if you get 5 or 6 drones out there, you could cover a heck of a lot more than you can on foot. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. So they said they had 170 people on foot, horseback, helicopters, and drones, 3 to 4 man teams. 2 miles out from the trailhead that they were on is where they were found. But I think we found in Idaho when we were out there doing training with Kazakh, with the vegetation and the type of trees that were there, it was actually pretty challenging to look down into the canopy. And we had an incident where we were doing training with the cadets, and we went to wake them up at 3:30 in the morning for their simulation that we were going to put them through. And we knew that where they were camping, just across the road, but we actually could not find them for 40 minutes because the heat signature, the tent, and with the temperature drop, everything that was visible to us in the drone and the thermal had cooled down. And with the canopy, we couldn't see through very easily. So everything was cooled down that was visible to the thermal. They were warm underneath.
Yeah.
So the thermal was actually really challenging, to the point that it took us quite a while just to find the cadets. And we knew that they were camping within 400 yards of us. So depending on the terrain and the canopy and vegetation, there's significant challenges just doing a blanket grid search. Now, being able to go along trails and features like points like waterfalls and stuff like that, great.
Yeah.
It was significantly like a huge asset, right?
Yeah, it would have just been such a. Well, how would you have known if they're going to be? Well, you just didn't know the situation,
Exactly.
right?
You had no clue.
Yeah.
Because they're hunting, right? So they could be anywhere,
yep.
right? So you're looking at behavior of hunters or animals at this point, because you knew that they were out
Hunting.
going after an elk. So you're looking at that behavior. Where could they be? But are they glassing, or are they on a stalk? Who knows what they were doing at that point in time? So your area of search is vast at this point.
Yeah, we had people reach out to us through Drone Deer Recovery. They wanted us to go out there. And I would have, if we would have gotten in touch with the right people, because when you go do a search like that, is you got to get connected with the correct people, or you're just there aimlessly searching around by yourself.
Yeah, it was a long ways. If it would have been in West Virginia, I would have been gone.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, if we fly out there, probably by the time I land, they're going to be found.
It surprisingly took him a little while.
It was 5
did.
days, 5 days of searching.
Wow.
It took way longer
for
than
it to
I
be
expected.
for it to be within 2 miles of the trailhead where they were found. 5 days of just extensive search. That's a lot.
It's just too bad.
A lot of manpower.
Young guys again.
right?
But if people hear 2 miles, they think, oh, well, that's not far. But if you're in the mountains,
Yeah.
that can be a long way.
Yeah.
Significant. Yeah.
So I have something else,
What's that?
right? Something else where it's like, why are drones not being used for this? Do you hunt on your own land?
No.
No,
He doesn't even really hunt.
you don't really hunt.
But he does
I
a lot
don't
of
know
deer
what
recoveries.
That means like really hunt. I kind of hunt, Kevin.
You and I are probably the same then.
Trust me, I am an experienced veteran hunter compared to you. Let's
No.
I'll bring back the whole mounting story.
Whoa.
It doesn't take much, believe me. Sorry. I grew up hunting, bow hunting, everything.
You're just not a fan of it?
I quite enjoy hunting, but I'm not a diehard hunter. No, I've the last probably 10 deer that I shot were all with a shotgun. So if that tells you anything, I probably get too bored with the bow. If I pull my bow, I would not even close the dare to pull my bow back. My string would probably. I do have a bow, but I would. I've thought of going and shooting it. And I'm
Hey,
like,
if you
nah,
need
it's not safe.
if you need a new string, Rogue Bow Strings, they make
Yeah,
one for you.
I bet. I'm pretty sure I need a new everything when it comes to the bow.
Okay.
But yeah, so I will go hunt sometimes, but it's usually for the meat, and the quickest, easiest way is with a gun. Plus, I also see the mutilated, tortured deer that bow hunters, what they do to them. So I'm like, nah, I'll use the gun and not torture them.
I mean, I've seen some mutilated deer with guns too.
I have to.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we're just putting it out there,
I'm
bow
just
hunters.
less
like,
likely to mutilate them with a shotgun and a scope. Yeah.
A shotgun and a scope.
And a scope. Yeah, a scope.
so no open
good.
sights.
I have done that. Yeah, that's where the mutilation thing happens. Not
Jeez.
good. But no, I'm not a diehard hunter, but I do enjoy going out and hunting. It's just the last couple of years I didn't because I was getting my fix with finding them with the drone.
Yeah,
for sure. And
so much fun.
And the meat, like I don't know how many deer we actually got the last couple of years just from hunters having.
Do you eat deer meat? Like you like it?
Yeah, we eat it. And my wife uses some of it to make dog food. Don't tell the hunters.
We'll cut that part.
But they love it, so. Yeah.
What does Kevin want to say? He's over there like
No, it's
chopping
good. It's
chopping
good.
at the bit. What were you going to say? You
What?
asked him if he really hunts.
Well, so we've talked about how is it possible that drones are not a thing for security?
Uh-huh.
Surely they've got to have been a thing, right? So for anybody who has a couple hundred acres, we were talking yesterday about how is it not a thing that you load up-to-date UAV topo maps onto your Onyx or your whatever app you use. How is it a thing that you would invest as much in your land as what people do for 500 acres of hunting land, and you wouldn't have actual yearly or twice a year updated topo maps to see
Satellite imagery is
Yeah,
what you're talking about.
right. Like,
but it'd be aerial imagery.
you have fuzzy satellite imagery that's 3 years old. Why?
Yeah.
Why is that still a thing? That, to me, it's like the same as security. Why is that still a thing? But then you're not really enough of a hunter to answer that. So
Yeah, I am. No, exactly.
Kevin was
This guy's got
Kevin
jokes.
was watching your face for a reaction.
It's because they don't need that much detail. They like to know the lay of their land, but they don't need to know every detail of it. So, and a satellite map, I think, it gives most hunters enough detail. Now, if they would have a super high quality image taken with a drone, but then you're wanting a printout that's, ideally it'd be like, at least a 4x6.
No, we're
If you
not
have
talking
a decent
printouts.
one.
We're just having.
You're
they-
talking on your phone.
Yeah, we're having an update date. Like if I build a food plot today, I won't be able to know where that food plot is in my trees until a year or two from now.
Yeah, I think that would be nice to have, but it's one of the things that's probably for most hunters.
Yeah, they
it's
just don't
not.
want to pay for it. Maybe.
Yeah. And they don't even know how to get it or that it's even available. So you go and make one, show a video of exactly how you did it and how it looks on your phone, and I bet you'll have people asking for it.
Maybe.
Because I'm not sure how to do it myself. And I got a drone.
Well, and the thing is, you use Onyx. What do you use?
Typically Onyx, yeah.
Yeah, and for it to really be useful, you want it in Onyx, right? You want it in your hunting mapping app.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that would definitely be ideal. That would be nice. Yeah, I would think. But on the other hand, I do think a lot of hunters like a big map of their land. Like you go into any decent hunting cabin, they're going to have a big map with the layout of their land somewhere. And if they can get that in, super high definition, that'd be nice. But then, yeah, it doesn't make sense to do that unless you can have a pretty big print if you've got a couple hundred acres. But but yeah, to have it on X or something like that. Yeah, that'd be nice to have it the most up to date thing. But yeah, I think it's just the hassle, probably.
Probably. Yeah. Just it's not an easy way of doing it. But Onyx doesn't even allow you to do it currently because you create what's called a TIFF file. You basically you take the drone out. It takes a picture every second. You don't even manually fly it. It does it all on its own. You take that information, put it into a software. It stitches it all together. Then that's what you now have, what is called a TIFF file. Then you upload that to your favorite map app. But there's no option for you to do that. But if there would be an option, I wonder if people would do it. Yeah.
That would be an interesting crowdsourcing. Like if you would have an app that would be something similar, and then you have hunters uploading super detailed data, and you would be able to absorb that and overlay it as your own personal layer, something like that. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sure people could develop it, but I'm not sure, how that data. It's kind of like when you're on Google Earth, there's certain sections that are high def, and then there's a line, and then it goes to low res.
Yeah.
Where you would have something like that. But that would be interesting data that you could source from hunters and outdoorsmen, wildlife people.
But if I'm doing that to my land, I don't know that I would be incentivized to provide that data to every other.
No, it would only be for your account.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But as the person hosting the app, it's yours, right? That's data that you get to have because they're using your software, which, we're giving all sorts of data over to the higher ups, just by carrying around these iPhones and having Apple Card and spending habits and everything like that. What's a little bit of topography.
Well, they're so scared about the drones right now, national security, they're going to be like, oh, geez, China has it all. It's like, dude, look at some of the aerial imagery that's available right now.
Oh,
If it's available to us, it's available to them as well.
Yeah.
They just get on a VPN and boom. They're looking at
the better stuff is available to them than what's available to us.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got anything to add? Anything else to add to the drones in the security space? I just, it was a little tension there in the beginning because we know what it's capable of doing, and we're just like, why is it not being used?
It's being underutilized.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost frustrating, the thought of it. Like, why wouldn't they do that? I don't get it. But it's probably just not knowing that what's available is probably the bigger thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Need to know what to buy, need to know how to fly it, need to know what certifications to get, how to file, waivers and TFRs. There's a little bit of stuff that...
Now Kevin's getting too far away from his mic.
There's a little bit of stuff that it would, for somebody completely new to a security company, they'd be like, well, can somebody just make this easy? Can we just go one place, buy what we need, get told what certifications we need to get, and then how to file waivers?
Yeah.
Well, I just think if there be a company that offers it, and it's going to be hard to start a company, hey, we are the drone security team, hire us, this is how much we cost per hour or per event. But then again, it's like, is there even a market for it?
I think the security teams will buy the drones.
Yeah.
The existing
I think that's what they need to do. Not just have a drone security team, but the security team as a whole. Yep.
But there will be. There will be. I mean, if I would advertise as, hey, I provide drone security, I'm thinking companies would hire me.
So We were involved in getting local law enforcement some of these drones. I'd be curious if they are actually utilizing that tech for events like locally.
I'd be highly surprised that they would be, because they start getting into that gray area about if law enforcement is using it for surveillance. I know that I approached the DNR, the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, when I talked to the game wardens here about why aren't you using these drones to catch poachers, poaching deer. And they just said that we don't have the right to fly a drone to look at your back corner of your property to see if you're doing something illegal. And so I think that it'd probably be kind of the same thing is if they're flying it in an area that they're surveilling private people. I just
You
don't
would
know.
think they would be able to do it on public land, though.
You would, but addressing like local events, you have the local fair, right? And there's a police presence there and stuff like that. Are they utilizing it at all? Like, are they putting it up in the air to have that visual local law enforcement? Like,
I wonder.
I was just
Surely.
curious. Like,
Yeah,
because we're talking about security, and then you bring it home to a smaller scale, local level. Is there utilizing that technology by local law enforcement?
But again, you remember how new and rookies those guys were? Like,
yeah, the
you
majority
need-
of them.
you need hundreds of hours to get good, like we are. And so if they're not literally using it like every day like we do, they're probably not gonna be that good with it. Yes, they can hover it out there and it can sit, but yeah, that's a good question. Maybe we should reach out and be like,
That would be interesting. I'd
Yeah,
like it.
Tim has told me that most of the missions he's flown in conjunction with the police forces in Dalton, I don't know, wherever it is, Akron, has been when they're serving an arrest warrant,
yeah,
something like that. They put the drone up so that they can catch the guy that runs out the back,
Yeah.
or even see if there's going to be a gun or weapon or something.
So you have chatted with him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the only civilians. So that he's one of the only civilians in Ohio that I'm aware of that is trained with some certification to be able to fly alongside police on police missions and stuff.
huh?
So,
Yeah,
but yeah, I think we'll see more and more of it. And this is like I keep coming back to the same thing. It's we weren't having this conversation before Charlie Kirk was assassinated.
Right.
And
Yeah.
we live in the drone space. And, when we see security details or public events, it never went through my mind of, okay, where are the drones? Like, and that's just because, I don't know, I just didn't think about it. So,
yeah. I just hope people start thinking about it.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tragic what happened to him. But there's a lot of good coming out of it. Charlie stood as a Christian, and he had values, talking about family, and the amount of people that heard the gospel at his memorial, that in itself is a win. Like, if he would have seen that, that's what he was standing for.
Incredible outcome out of a tragic event.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. It's just terrible for his wife and kids.
Oh, I
It's
know.
just So
Yeah.
brutal.
Yeah. Like the rest of us will move on from it in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But then they have, every day.
Yeah, no,
Just grief.
his impact will be felt for generations, without a doubt.
Oh, yeah. For sure. That's the first time that in my lifetime I would have seen a real life martyr, right? Like he stood for something and we seen it happen. Like, I've heard of Martin Luther. I've heard of the people in the past that got martyred for what they stood for, but never seen it. And now you see it. That's probably the hardest thing.
And it's especially hard because he invited people who disagree with him to have conversation.
Open dialogue.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And then
That's
there's
what he stood
people who
for.
are saying he's this hateful guy. And, it's like the polar opposite.
Yeah.
He could get along with anybody.
Yeah.
Like, he would do interviews with, you name it, like anybody who would welcome him, and he wouldn't be rude, or if you just go and watch him. If anybody,
you got to watch
it's
him.
it's
Yep.
just so stunning to me how people how people comment on social media or whatever,
Yep.
and it's like have you ever watched
and
the video?
and there's
But-
hundreds and hundreds of hours of him on camera
Yeah.
debating, having conversations, and the way you write an article that smears him is by taking out 5 phrases from the archive of 500 hours, and
even then, you have a
Yeah.
hard time. I mean,
He's-
you'd have to be really trying to
Yeah.
make somebody look
He's
bad.
he's known for welcoming discourse, right? He's known for sharing opposing opinions and ideas and debating live and on video, and which is the opposite of some who will say, "Well, if you have differing ideas, then I don't even want to have a conversation with you."
Yeah.
Right, and so I think that is a hallmark of what he's known for is welcoming discourse, and I really like that.
very high value on truth. Like truth is what truth is, and it you don't change it. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
And having, humility and a sense of humor like the South Park guys, those guys, they put out, you guys would never watch a show like that. It's way too corrupt. But I have no, they're horrible little people. I don't know who's behind it. But they did an episode, this was pretty big thing, that they did an episode about Charlie Kirk. And I just saw him commenting on. By the way, I don't watch it, just for the record. I don't know how I saw this clip of South Park. It must have been the first clip I saw of them.
It's okay,
in
Dennis. We won't think about
years.
it.
Oh, believe me, you would judge me. If you watched South Park. And if you watch South Park, I'm judging you. It's like so bad. They are funny sometimes, but they make fun about anybody. I mean,
Everybody.
and anybody and everybody. Yep. And so they did one on Charlie Kirk. Like the whole episode was about him. This was just recently. And I saw some of that episode. I thought it was kind of funny, and that they are actually picking on Charlie Kirk here. And then, I don't know, a week later or so, Charlie put out this little video on commenting on it. And it's like, oh, it was hilarious, and he totally had a sense of humor about it. And I was like, that was funny, about as good a response as you could possibly imagine.
Yeah.
Like, not getting offended by it and stuff. And they were a little ridiculous with some of the stuff, but they did take the episode off. Or,
after he died.
Yeah. I think Comedy Central puts it on.
Okay.
I think I'm not 100% on that, but yeah, I know they had taken it down. I don't think they put it back up because of course they were kind of poking fun at him, but yeah, it was like something like that. Like he had such a good attitude about it or whatever. Like it was hilarious, whatever. And they're talking about us. We'll take it as a win, like wow, they're actually had to make an evidence that tells him we're
Making an impact in the culture.
And so anyway, I just thought it was pretty cool the way that he responded to it. But
Yeah.
So how do we end this?
No.
If you're a security company, please buy a drone.
Yeah.
If you need help choosing one, then call Mike. Call our team.
There's plenty of people out there that can steer you in the right direction. But if you don't know of anybody, DroneDayRecovery.com. We sell the drones. We'd like to help. Yep. So, alrighty, guys, that's all we got. Thanks for listening today. We'll catch you guys on the next one.